Hey everyone, it's Tim with Falconite. I'm back with another episode of Road to 1.2k. And today's episode is going to be this High Funds Tier 1 match on the map Crimson Canals versus Seraphesk, who is a pretty good player, I would say, overall. This is an interesting map. It's High Funds, so I kind of expect myself to maybe ignore the airport this time and not get air units out fast enough, but this is a bit of a gimmick map. I actually do like it. I didn't exactly know what the gimmick of it was my first time playing this map, and it was my first time playing it. So, it is an interesting little thing here. You've got this area here with the two APCs guarding this port area right here. So you have to be very specific about how you deal with this area specifically. It's got a pretty decent choke point, so you could just pretty easily just send in some artillery to sort of just start barraging down this area, taking out the pipe seams or whatever to maybe open up a choke point if you want, but you definitely want artillery in this area, not only just so that your opponent doesn't do anything cheeky with this area, as you might see in this match, but also because this is a really good choke point. You can even use artillery to help push into this area here, because your opponent just has the one base here and you got two. So that'll be pretty good for you if you manage to get a bit of an artillery block, especially in this area. Then you can just wall off with like a tank or a medium tank or even just infantry maybe. It is high funds, so like your opponent could use heavier vehicles like medium tanks maybe to start just opening up this area a bit, but that's why you have the artillery to make it so that your opponent doesn't really want to do that. The other thing about this map is, okay, you have the airports here that are completely we're not exactly touching the mainland here, so you need to build a black boat to get this airport anyways, and then you can send that black boat up this way to help reinforce this area, help capture some stuff in this area, stuff like that. You got these center properties here. You got the two comm towers, which are, I'd say, they're pretty far away from the production base anyways, even though, like, because this tile specifically and these tiles here are like C tiles, so you need to send your infantry basically from this base just up, and it's like 3 turns to the comm tower from there. It's like 2 with a vehicle basically, so it is pretty contestable, this entire area here, and there's a lot of goodies in this center area. So if you manage to take control of the center area, you basically got the game locked, because this is high funds. So if you're able to grab as much of this as you can, obviously this is like the goodie pile right here. So ideally, this is sort of where most of the fighting is going to end up taking place, in the center area right here, because there's a lot up for grabs in this area. The comm towers are a bit further back, but they are still pretty much in the fray, so it is contestable. Well, this is also a 2 comm tower map as well, so these side comm towers are a little bit less contested, meaning that you're basically guaranteed the 10% firepower. So basically anyone on this map really can get up to 20% firepower, except I guess Sturm, or like someone with a firepower reduction like Sammy. But overall, I'd say, as far as for tier 1, let's go to tier lists. So for high funds, you got tier 1. It's Eagle, Hawk, Olaf, Sensei, Nell, and then I think Kanbai is actually allowed in tier 1. If I double check, we go to top tier here. Yeah, Kanbai is actually still allowed, so you can bring Kanbai if you want. This map, it does have, well, I mean, just looking at this, like, there's a reason why Kanbai is at 64, whereas Hawk's down at like 47. Eagle is actually up at 53, though he's only been used like 17 times, which isn't that much. And then Olaf's at 50-50. So overall, I think the pick is probably clear. Like if you get the chance to go up a tier, you may as well. It also this map also does have a pretty significant first turn advantage, at least from the data here. Like, to be fair, I'd say that the extra infantry in this map is actually pretty good, because it means that you can start capping this stuff over here really quickly. You can get to the airport a lot earlier. You can get to the port a lot earlier. Honestly, well, I don't even know if there's a good spot to put the extra infantry for player 2. I think that maybe what you do instead is just have, well, I don't know. I don't know how you even that out, because you can't really give player 2 an extra property, because that'll be like crazy amounts of money. That player 1 can't take it right away. So I don't know how exactly you go about balancing that. To be honest, I think that it's not that big of a deal overall, especially if your opponent was playing a CO tier lower than you, ideally. So that by itself should even stuff out, at least making the field pretty even. So at least for this match, this is a pretty, I'd say, even opener. Wait, actually, I say first turn advantage. But yeah, the FTA, it is FTA, not second turn STA. So I guess this is, because just on the face of it, I feel like the extra infantry here is almost better than than having the first turn here. Like, I went straight into why player 2 should have the advantage here, because I feel like they almost should, because they're going to be able to capture stuff a lot faster. But I don't know, I guess the overall first turn advantage is a thing, statistically. Even though I feel like just from looking at it, I feel like it would almost be a second turn advantage. Because player 2 can get through this faster, get air units out faster, get black boat down here faster. So, well, I don't know. Anyways, let's go ahead and get on with the replay. So, to be honest, I should have a significant advantage overall in this map. So anything that goes wrong is my skill. Would just be a skill issue for me, right? Starting off, we got pretty basic infantry movement. I think we're sort of just mirroring each other, more or less. Because yeah, and because this you start out without either of these capped, it does get a little bit. It makes this center area, well, this 2 base production area, a bit slower to start, which is interesting because it means that you can spread out a bit faster on the periphery here. So that's always interesting, I guess. That would be the reason why you start with this uncaptured rather than starting with it captured. Is you want to make it so that the side areas start out a little bit more aggressively with the infantry here. So I'm Kanbai. I can afford everything basically because it's high funds. So the good thing about Kanbai and high funds is because you have double income, that means that Kanbai can basically buy whatever he needs, even with his extra 20% unit cost. And having 30 units on like all of his units becomes very, very, very good. Like Hawk's infantry are not going to be able to attack into this at all. Like if they tried, they would just basically just die. Like look at that. This is just base Kanbai stuff. They just get annihilated. You can't fight against Kanbai with just infantry here, which it is high funds, meaning that you're not really you're going to be able to afford counters to basically all the units a little bit easier, but still, like, but part of why my opponent is going for the anti-air here, I think, is to deal with the infantry and also to deal with any air units that I start spinning out, because I'm about to get the airport here. So I'm just moving in with all my units here, get some tanks out, because I'm still in like tank building mode. And then Seraphesk goes ahead and reveals what the gimmick of the map is. Which is, you can just, once your Blackblood is in range here, you can just delete your APCs and then start capping the harbor here. And if you do this and your opponent isn't ready for it, that means that you can get a very, very, very good advantage going here. So, as you can see here, I'm actually moving in here pretty aggressively because I am 30-30, so that allows me to just attack into the infantry here without really worrying about anything going wrong. And then in retaliation, I only get the one artillery, which also wasn't necessarily the best idea. Like, I got the battlecopter here, but considering I'm going to be having to face off against a battleship, that's going to be a bit of an issue. Because, well, actually, I'll just show it off. So he's going to be able to capture the harbor here for sure. He's got, he's going to be going in on these properties as well with his infantry, because you do start off a good amount of units in this area. He's got rockets to sort of deal with this area as well. So that's not all that bad. He's got a Neo tank coming out here, which he can move in with his lander to deal stuff with, which isn't bad either. But as you can see here, I'm already getting up to my second one of these. So I've got a couple comm towers, and that's like with convoy firepower, that should be enough to deal with the anything that's built in this harbor, right? Well, just the single artillery, right? Because battleships are kind of tanky, but they're not like that tanky, right? Well, anyways, so I am able to just do a lot here. I join cap even here, so I get a little bit of a refund, and I'm going to be able to sort of deal with that this way. Just having this stuff by itself basically is going to be pretty solid in this area. I've got battlecopters to sort of deal with a Neo tank. Honestly, in hindsight, I probably should have gotten a Neo tank of my own pretty quickly, or maybe even a bomber would have been nice. Now, convoy bombers are pretty expensive, but I'd say that it would probably end up being worth it. But yeah, double anti-air here, so I can spread out, so I can have one head this way, one head down into this area down here to deal with his battlecopters, because, like, may as well spam battlecopters, right? I don't know exactly what he did with his infantry, but he goes ahead and builds a battleship here. And that's the issue. That's the issue right there. Is you sort of need two artillery to deal with battleships. Even if it's convoy with his crazy freaking attack. Right? You still need to deal... You still need two artillery in order to deal with it. Even with the two comm towers as well. So, in hindsight, I should have started just artillery spamming a lot here. Gotten this area under lockdown and then made it so that he can't really do anything against this. Maybe even get some missiles to ward off his battlecopters. So that... And protect my artillery. Like, this would be one of the few areas where missiles would be pretty solid because of the choke pointy nature of this area. Like, I'd be able to just slowly march from down this way. But they would be fine. They'd be able to take out the battlecopters nice and easy. But yeah, I think that's the issue is, first of all, I wasn't expecting this, so I was able to grab the harbor pretty easily, which is well played on his own. But then the other thing is, I wasn't expecting... I don't really deal with battleships that often. Unsurprisingly, because naval units aren't exactly standard in most game modes, even in high FUDs. So I didn't really expect that they would be that little damage on the harbor. But that's going to end up being a saving grace for my opponent here, is me not building enough artillery in this area, which is very good for him because it's gonna allow him to take an advantage of, well, for one thing, Convoy's high unit counts, because he's gonna be able to just shell all my ground units. And as soon as I hit CVAT, I'm like, shit. So I build more artillery, obviously. And you'd think my battlecopters would be good as well against naval units, but you'll see how well they perform as well. I do manage to flip this, but then he's able to move in with his units here. He's got more infantry here to recapture this, and he's going to be able to guard it as well pretty easily here. So overall, I feel like he's doing pretty well. He's got another anti-air ready to move in over here to deal with my battlecopters. So I definitely should have gotten a Neo tank of my own here, or maybe even a mecha tank would have been pretty solid here. Man, maybe that would be overkill, because I am playing Convoy, so even if he gets the first strike, like Neo tank wise, like this is city into shells, and it's not even doing that much damage. So if I manage to stick to like the cities or whatever, he can't even attack into it. So anyways, Convoy is able to just push through here because I'm actually able to punch through there at this point, so able to get through here a bit more easily, and that's going to allow me to sort of make this sort of match up a bit, get a little bit more chip damage there, but mainly just I'm only fighting back the repairs that he's going to be taking off right now, so overall not really making much headway. And he's actually falling back, which is very annoying because it means I can't actually just artillery into the harbor anymore, which is also very annoying. And then yeah, and he just gets another freaking battleship. That's the other thing about Convoy, but which kind of sucks in this map, is his battleships are crazy expensive. So you can't really necessarily do the same battleship spam strat. I mean, you can. Like, they'd be even stronger here. It's just, it would be a bit more difficult if your opponent has artillery ready to deal with it. If you don't, then it's also, like, really, really solid. Like, battleships with extra defense is insane. Like, this is, he was able to deal with this one pretty easily with just the 30 defense from the harbor. So Convoy freaking battleships in this area, or even like Drake battleship. I think Drake's get like, I can't forget, but I think it's like 20% freaking firepower, which is solid as well. But anyways, so I move in for my own sort of capture here. I forget if, oh, that's why. Yep, he pops Black Storm, which is devastating against Convoy, because it's just bam, and then a fifth of your army is just gone. And because it's Convoy, that's going to cost a freaking more jillion dollars to deal with. So that's another reason why Hawk is actually a pretty solid pick on this map. Excuse me. Yeah, because if he can wait out Convoy's excellent day-to-day and get up to his superpower, or even just his little power, he can like severely cripple Convoy's economy. And that makes all of my battlecopters 8 health, which might come into play later as well. But yeah, it's going to make it impossible for me to actually like capture anything, more or less. I don't have any tanks really in this area to deal with this anti-air, which is annoying. I finally have the Neo tank over here, but I should have built that like forever ago. And yeah, I mean, I've got another one, but I'm sending in this way to sort of deal with his medium tank, but that doesn't really matter. Honestly, as soon as he got this and sidelined me with this, that was kind of game over, but whatever. As you can see here, though, we aren't actually that far apart, and I am still in the lead unit count-wise for the time being. But that's going to end up changing pretty quickly. I'm able to take it down like most of this battleship, which isn't bad. Get a good chunk of his Neo tank gone as well, which isn't bad. Put the artillery on there to sort of try and stop him from building any more battleships there, which isn't that bad. He just goes in and just charges my battlecopter with the Neo tank, which isn't actually that bad either, because they do about 30% to battlecopters. So yeah, he goes ahead and pops his little power, which further cripples my air units. He gets another Neo tank at this point. I mean, whatchamacallit, another battleship at this point. This guy's kind of a sitting duck. I guess he could take out the one battleship maybe. But yeah, then again, same sort of deal here with the health here. Is the repairs here are just going to bring this guy back up to 8 health anyways, so still going to be a very, very effective battleship here. And I just end up resigning. And the reason is because, like, well, just look at these stats. I'm down about half a turn's income. Well, I'd say we were about even as far as unit value on the board. But at this point, I've lost my unit count advantage. Most of my units in this area are weakened, so he's going to have a pretty easy time just wiping them up, especially considering he's got so many freaking battleships in this area. I am sort of making headway in this area, though. Like, my Neo tank's going to be able to take over this guy, but take out this guy. But oh yeah, the other thing is he did manage to get artillery in this way into this area, so I wasn't able to grab this port myself, which is another thing, which is just going to be severely crippling me. And then he has artillery and stuff, which he can send in now with the lander, so he can even like blindside me, have his units reinforced over this way. So no point in wasting any more time here, basically. Overall, so main things that went wrong for me was not knowing how the map works. I do like how it works, though. It's an interesting thing. Well, that was my first mistake. Second mistake was just sending a single artillery to deal with the battleship, because I feel like a lot of times most of the time battleships are kind of a joke. But in this map in particular, they're pretty good. Because, like, look at this range. Even from just the harbor here, they have such a good coverage area. You can't really do much against them because they're pretty close to your airport. So you can, like, if your opponent goes in with battlecopters to try and take out your battleships, they can't really do that. Artillery is here, but it is sort of a choke pointy area, so if all you have to do is like just fall back a little bit with these guys, you can build more, as my opponent did, which was really, really good. Like, my opponent played amazingly this map. Like, normally you'd expect Convoy to just wipe Royal Hawk, but because of this advantage, because I misplayed with the artillery and stuff, I believe my opponent just was able to power through it, and get his well-deserved win. Bad with words right now. But yeah, definitely very, very well played by my opponent here. And then the other thing that was really good, as far as like the Hawk Convoy matchup, as I mentioned earlier, is if you're Hawk and you're able to hold out until your superpower gets here. And like, look at this. He was down like 10 units count at this point. Down 10 units, like 50k overall as well. Like, from a purely numbers game, it doesn't even look that good for him. Like, I'm ahead 2 properties as well. But, he just pressing the button and popping the super here, like, look at how much that did for him. It's insane how good Hawk it can be. Like, I would say on a slightly smaller map, I'd say Convoy always basically wins, but this is high funds, so it's kind of a name of a game where you have these nice big maps where you can play around with all the expensive fancy units and stuff, which is fun. Something that I need to get a little bit more used to doing, because high funds is kind of my weakness at this point right now. I think it's my worst game mode right now. But yeah, there were some, like, me not knowing exactly what to do to counter his pushes here wasn't the best ever. Started doing artillery, I guess, once I got the Neo tank out even. Oh, and then also him having that in time to, like, I should have just left the infantry in the black boat maybe. Possibly. But yeah, anyways, yeah, just the freaking Hawk superpower coming in clutch there. Like, Convoy superpower was pretty solid, but even then with the Hawk superpower, man, that ended up doing a number on me. Anyways, that's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed. Next week is we're gonna be covering which game? Because I have gotten a good number in, but I'm still sort of trying to fight the tide here. But yeah, it's gonna be this Olaf mirror match tier 2 fog. Looks like we're gonna have 2 sort of matches like that in a row. But it's gonna be on Remnant betwixt. Oh, Cookie Lab Ninjas, nice. But yeah, this is gonna be we're gonna be moving into a little bit of a fog mode from here forward, at least for the time being. So, if you enjoyed, go ahead and like and subscribe and all that other nonsense, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye for now.